The movie begins in a beautiful coastal city in Croatia, where Beth, a young American who has just become a mother, plans to spend a relaxing weekend with her best friend Kate. Upon arriving at her destination, she says goodbye to Zane, the friendly taxi driver who brought her there. She then goes to the apartment rented by Kate, who paid for the trip and all the luxuries using her ex-husband Jay's credit card. As a thank you, Beth gives Kate a necklace made of black plastic beads. That night, while getting ready to go out, Beth video calls her husband Rob and their baby Aster. Afterwards, in the lobby, they run into Sebastian, the owner of the building, who asks Beth if she likes the place. Once at the restaurant, Beth feels like a bad friend for not being there for Kate during her divorce. But Kate holds no grudge because she understands Beth was busy taking care of her new baby. Kate then asks Beth about her marriage. Beth doesn't know how to respond because she feels her relationship is stagnant, though she thinks Kate's suggestion of divorce is too extreme. Their next stop is a club where two men on the dance floor show interest in them. Kate convinces Beth to have a one-night fling. As the night progresses, the women talk and have fun with the men, although Beth starts feeling dizzy to the point of fainting. She wakes up the next morning in the apartment with no memory of what happened. She immediately looks for Kate but finds only traces of a wild night: wine bottles, scattered clothes, and a hot tub still running. The truly unsettling discovery is a broken, bloodied glass under a towel. After trying in vain to call Kate, Beth seeks help from Rob, but her memory loss makes things complicated. Sebastian also didn't see Kate, although he does recall that two men went up to the apartment. That revelation is enough for Beth to report the situation at the police station, but Officer Pavich doesn't take her seriously, judging them as drunken party girls. Moreover, a missing person report can't be filed until 24 hours have passed. With no other choice but to investigate on her own, Zane takes Beth to the nightclub. The bartender there confesses that the two men are escorts, i.e., male prostitutes, and all signs suggest Kate hired them. However, this doesn't calm Beth, who refuses to return home to London until Kate appears. The next morning, thanks to details from the bartender, Beth finds the two escorts, Matteo and Luca, on social media and asks Zane to set up a meeting with them. The moment they see Beth, the men run away, but Zane manages to catch Luca, threatening to throw him off a cliff unless he confesses. Luca then reveals that they stayed at the apartment until 3 a.m. and that they fled after stealing Kate's wallet. He swears they didn't drug the women's drinks. He gives Beth the address of the shop where he sold the wallet, and Beth recovers Kate's phone from there. Beth still believes the escorts drugged her because she only drank water at the club. From this, it's implied that it was actually Kate who put something in Beth's drink so she would have fun. After another full day with no sign of Kate, the disappearance finally becomes official at the police station. Officer Kobach scolds Pavich for not helping earlier. Beth hands over her friend's purse and reveals the escorts' names but keeps Kate's phone hidden. Kobach suspects Beth might have been a victim of sexual assault, so she takes her to the hospital for tests. Afterwards, Beth calls Jay, who insists he hasn't spoken to Kate in quite some time. Back at the apartment, Beth finds Sebastian packing up because the rental period is over. He offers her a cheaper room while she continues investigating. After a much-needed nap, Beth wants to use Kate's phone to find some answers, but it's locked with facial recognition. Out of nowhere, Sebastian appears, asking if she wants to have dinner with him. Of course, Beth refuses. Instead, she goes out with Zane, but they can't get into his car because Rob suddenly arrives in Croatia to help with the investigation. Zane leaves to give them some privacy. Filled with jealousy, Rob scolds his wife for trusting a strange taxi driver. When Beth starts crying, Rob apologizes and agrees to hear the full story of Kate's disappearance. Their talk is interrupted by a call from the police with bad news. Kate's body has been found. Heartbroken, Beth goes to the morgue to identify her friend. The tests indicate that Kate drowned. The next day, Rob is remorseful because he always saw Kate as a nuisance. Beth advises him to return to London with their daughter so he can clear his mind. Later, Pavich, now more committed to the case, tells Beth they cannot confirm if Kate was murdered since her body showed signs of having had multiple sexual encounters. Beth asks to see her friend one last time, and Pavich gives her a moment alone. Beth uses Kate's face to unlock her phone. Among the missed calls, she sees many from a number saved as Handyman, so she decides to call it, only to hear Zane's voicemail message. She hangs up quickly, then checks their text chat. It confirms her suspicions. Kate and Rob were having an intimate relationship behind her back. The final messages from Kate are unsettling. At first, she asked Rob to leave Beth, but in the end, she made it clear he should stop messaging her. Something strange is going on. Soon after, Kobach summons Beth to the station because the results of her hospital tests are ready. It turns out both her blood and Kate's contained illegal substances, and Mateo and Luca have been ruled out as suspects since the police confirmed they had solid alibis. A taxi driver stated he picked them up from Kate's apartment before the suspected time of the murder. To make matters worse, witnesses from the club say they saw Beth and Kate arguing, although Beth, who can't fully remember, denies it. When the interrogation ends, Pavic drives Beth back to her apartment. Since she is now the prime suspect, he confiscates her passport and instructs Sebastian to keep an eye on her. Suspecting Kate's divorce is connected to her extramarital affair, Beth calls Jay, who confesses he knew about the forbidden romance, but didn't tell Beth because she was pregnant at the time. Feeling overwhelmed, Beth meets up with Zane and theorizes that maybe Kate planted drugs in her drink so Beth would sleep with escorts, giving Rob a perfect excuse to end their marriage. Rob then calls from London, asking how she is, but Beth yells at him for his infidelity. She warns that if the police find out, they'll label her as Kate's killer. Surprise! The police show up soon after to arrest Beth. They show her a photo taken secretly while she was with Zane, who is flagged for involvement with a human trafficking gang. The officers think Beth, jealous over the affair, hired the taxi driver to murder Kate. However, Beth is released because she never confessed, and they don't have enough evidence to hold her. Back at the apartment, Zane surprises Beth by letting himself in, thanks to Sebastian. He reveals that the police also questioned him, but let him go because his tracking app proved he was working at the time of the murder. He explains that his only illegal connection is that he once received help from traffickers to escape his home country of Syria and move to Croatia as a refugee. When Zane leaves, Beth wonders how the police discovered her conversation with Rob. She inspects the mirror in her room and discovers a hidden camera. She immediately goes to see Sebastian, acting as if nothing happened, but she secretly steals the keys to his office. Inside, she finds many screens linked to concealed cameras throughout the building, showing that Sebastian spies on all his tenants, even in the bathroom. Although she is disgusted, she takes advantage of the situation to look for footage from the night of the murder. In the recording, she sees that she fainted at the bar. Mateo and Luca carried her into her room and laid her in bed, then went to the hot tub with Kate. When she left to get something, Mateo and Luca took her wallet and left the building, taking a taxi. On the way out, Zane realized they had stolen it, but he couldn't stop them. Kate then got ready to leave, accidentally knocking over a glass, which she covered with a towel. She took a taxi. Beth notes the license plate, but later returned in a different vehicle. At that moment, Sebastian comes in looking for his keys, so Beth hits him. Desperate, he justifies his hidden cameras by claiming guests sometimes do terrible things while staying there. Beth no longer trusts him because he never told the police how he learned of Rob's affair. Sebastian starts erasing videos, destroying the evidence, but Beth manages to wrestle his phone away. In the struggle, she pushes him into a table, knocking him out for a few minutes. Before he recovers, Beth escapes the building and meets up with Zane, who drives her to his workplace to talk to the person who owns the car with the license plate she memorized. That man says he followed the escorts for a while but lost them, after which Kate asked him to drop her at the police station, though this makes no sense since the police claim they never spoke with her. Suddenly, a group of patrol cars arrives looking for Beth because she attacked Sebastian. Beth notices that Pavic's car is the same one that brought Kate back to the building. She accuses Pavic of killing Kate. Kobach appears, and in the chaos, Beth pushes Pavic off the roof by accident. Turns out she's good at that. Later at the station, Kobach apologizes to Beth for suspecting her, saying they found all the recordings from Sebastian's secret cameras, plus another video of a man throwing Kate into a lake. It turns out Pavic already had a record of abusing sex workers. Upon seeing Kate in minimal clothing, he tried to buy her services. When she refused, he killed her. The police also confirm Matteo and Luca had drugged women in the past to rob them. Thanks to all this, Beth is declared innocent. Before returning to London, she says a heartfelt goodbye to Zine, thanking him for his help. Of course, she also breaks up with Rob, and they agree to share custody of their baby. One afternoon, when Beth takes Astrid to Rob's apartment, she remembers she doesn't have the spare car key. Searching for it in Rob's jacket, she finds one of the plastic beads from the necklace she had given Kate, revealing him as the real killer. Remember, a flight from England to Croatia lasts only about 2 hours. Beth panics but quickly composes herself. She calls Kobach and leaves her phone in her pocket so the officer can listen. She confronts Rob, showing him the bead. He claims Kate's death was an accident. He explains that he had gone to Croatia because Kate kept threatening to tell Beth about their relationship. But in reality, he wanted to convince Kate to make their relationship official, intercepting her right after Pavic brought her back to the building. Feeling cornered, Kate told him she only slept with him to get revenge on Jay. She was determined to tell Beth the truth, so Rob lost control and pushed Kate into the rocky shoreline, killing her. Once he finishes his story, Beth shows him that Kobach heard it all. Furious, Rob attacks, but Beth fights back and knocks him down. She picks up her baby and leaves the apartment just as the police arrive to arrest Rob.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.